Well, this is the second attempt, but good morning. Just wanted to share a couple thoughts this morning with you guys. I was getting ready for my day, and I woke up and I was listening to a couple of things. I was listening to Les Brown, and at the same time, as many of you guys might know, I'm a huge multitasker. I do multiple things at the same time, but I was flipping through social media, and I was impressed to share some thoughts on suicide prevention. Now, I'm not exactly sure why or the reasoning for it, but I do know that a lot of the things that I'm impressed to share about or talk about is a benefit to someone. So if this resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, put it in your toolbox of things to know and use it accordingly in your life, probably to inspire or to help bring somebody else out. But in my world, I've only known one. Well, that comes to the forefront of my mind. One person that's ever committed suicide, and that was my uncle back in the early 80s. It was 80 or 81. And, there's many of things that I know, though. This what I'm sharing for, with you today is 100%, from the book of First Sean, Second Opinion. But from what I understand, suicide, the individual or individuals that even contemplate suicide, it's, they have a lot of stuff going on in their head. There might be mental illness. There may be a lot of, life's pressures that are really whipping your tail. And either you're too embarrassed or too afraid or too ashamed to seek out help for it, or you just don't realize that while you're going through whatever that struggle is, it doesn't mean it's the end. And the individuals that actually commit suicide, or they can't see past that. They let the static of their life be louder than the hope and their strength. I mean, most people are way stronger than they think they are. I grew up in the days where you had to tune your radio, and when you turn the little dial and you get between channels, you have that static. And when you're furthest away from the channel, the static is intense. It is so intense, and sometimes you have to turn the volume down. But you don't stop searching for the channel. You just keep tweaking it just a little bit here, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. And then it starts to, the stereo or the channel, the reception becomes a little bit clearer. And as you turn it a little bit more, you turn the volume back up because the static starts to decrease. So you want to hear the radio. You want to hear the program that's in the next channel. And I think, it's a lot like that. Life is a lot like that. The further we get away from what we're supposed to be doing and who we are, and the static is strong. It's freaking so overpowering. It can be really overwhelming. But at the same time, as you start to align yourself with the proper people, and you really start taking care of yourself and being able to hone your desires to just even live a better life. It's not even about stuff. It's just living a better life, then it starts to be more clear. But some people, the volume is way, way high on the static, and they've stopped turning the dial, and they're only hearing the static. And, you can't live life like that. You can stand it for so long, but unless you have somebody that comes in and takes that tuner from you and helps adjust it and get you closer to the program that you want, you're probably going to go crazy. There's been a couple times in my life that I've gone through some pretty significant things, and I like to tell people as I share my story that, the last 15 years, well, heck, now it's the last 20 years. I know I'm getting old. That sucks. But, but the last 20 years, most people would never, ever, ever believe. There's some things that I've gone through that most people would probably have committed suicide. I'm just stubborn enough to think, you know what? I'm not going to take that route. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to fight through it. If you keep moving, you're able to shake off the negative vibes. You're able to shake out of your mental funk. I knew at that time enough to seek spiritual guidance, seek just to be around other people in life where I wanted to be. I knew enough to keep moving because I knew if I stopped moving, and most people in this situation are like that, if I knew if I stopped moving, I would probably succumb to that darkness. And it's often talked about that if an individual, you never know who's going through what. That's why it's so important to listen to your friends and listen to what they're saying, because they are reaching out, but they just don't know how to directly ask you. Nobody knew some of the stuff that I was going through. Nobody knew, the challenges and the struggles, because I put my game face on. And I had a certain amount of, pride, and I didn't ask for help. But I was seeking help, and because I didn't want to be ashamed. And most people that don't have that strength, they suffer in silence, and they deal with it in their own way. And most of those times, that way you're tail spinning, you're on fire, you're falling fast. And some people don't have enough mental strength to pull themselves out. So, those individuals that have committed suicide, and you look back on life and you see where they were reaching out, they were struggling, but you didn't catch it, it's not your fault that you didn't catch it, by no means. It's just the simple fact that their tuning and our tuning was off. So you didn't catch what they were saying. You got to be mindful, you got to be mindful, you got to be strong. Some people, when they are going through it, they turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they try to use some other outside force to get them into tune, to be able to have a clear channel, clear reception, but they're using a numbed hand. Have you ever had, lost, your leg went to sleep or something like that? You try to walk on it, you're limping and you're pain, you can't barely feel the ground below you. That's how people try to navigate through life when they're dealing with some of those inner demons and contemplating suicide. I mean, it's a lot of people say it's a selfish thing, but it's not selfish to the person that's going through it, because it's the only thing that they know to solve the problem, to make the static go away. It's the only solution that they have, because they don't feel like anybody else can hear them. But if they were to turn just a little bit to make more clear their message to their inner circle, their friends, their family, let them know that they're struggling so that they can be of assistance to them, then they could get the help, but they don't know how to do that. That's why, it's such a shock to so many people when somebody does commit suicide, because it's like, what the heck was going on? Why did that happen? Why didn't they say anything? Well, they were saying it, you just weren't hearing it. They were out of tune. You were out of tune. You weren't catching what they were saying. So just, it's not a permanent, solution. It's not a permanent solution to the problem. And most people say that, those who are committing suicide, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. But in their mind, it's not a temporary problem. It is the biggest challenge that they've ever dealt with. And that's why they're succumbing to, just turning up the radio and throwing it off the cliff or whatever means that they use. It's not, they can't see the way out. So they are taking their way out in their own hands. They know that they can do it and stop the static. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to resonate with some people, but it's real. It's real. It's hard. Life is not easy. That's why we have so many mental health counselors. We have so many people that are taking different prescription drugs for mood altering. Because the struggle is more real now than it has ever been. There's so many things are being, even children are dealing with it. Just life is rough, but it doesn't have to be. You have the ability to tune the channel so that you have a better and clear message, that you can hear better, that you can enjoy life. If you need a mental health professional to assist in that, there is no shame in that, man. There's no shame at all. You got to do what you got to do. You want to live your best life, but you don't have to do it alone. There's nothing that says you have to shoulder all of it by yourself. Find somebody that you can talk to, whether it be your friend, whether it be a coworker, whether it be a therapist, whether, a doctor, somebody. Let somebody know that you're out of tune, and try to be as clear as possible in sharing that message to somebody so that they can give you the assistance and support that you need so that you can start living your life again. We don't want you to snuff yourself out. We need to know your story. We need to hear your overcoming. We need to know that, if you've gone through it, we can overcome it too. I've dealt with a lot of stuff, and I've overcome a lot of stuff just by being able to, talk through it with other people, with other friends and stuff like that. But at the same time, I seek out assistance when my tuning gets a little bit off. I'm very aware of what's going on around me. Sometimes when I slip into the funk, if you will, I know that I'm in a funk. So I start thinking about what's going on. Where am I off? You don't have to, what's coming to mind is people trying to live up to an expectation that was not theirs. They're trying to live up to something that wasn't a standard of living that they didn't choose. I don't know the Joneses, and I ain't trying to keep up with them. They don't take care of me, so I don't care. There's a lot of people think that I should be further along and have more stuff, possessions than I have. But I don't care. I don't care about them. I don't care about their, that situation. I'm not going to let their perception of who they think I should be draw me into a situation where I'm not ready to be. And when people feel that pressure and they feel that amount of angst, if you will, in their life, that's when they start getting out of tune, and they start to try to live up to something that they are not. That's when you start looking at how other people are living, and you think, oh man, I should be living that way too, and I feel really bad. And then it starts this circle, the death spiral, if you will. Do you live your life the best way that you can? Reach out, get the assistance that you need. You don't have to succumb to the static. Reach out for help so someone can help you tune your life back into a clear reception. So I hope this was helpful to somebody this morning. If you like it, it's going to be a public post. So share it if you need to, or if you want to, whatever. There's a lot of things going down in my world right now that I'm honing that might take me in a different direction when I'm currently doing, where I'm currently at. And I'm just trying to catch some traction here. I do find that it's going to be very beneficial to a lot of people. And that's my biggest thing, is to try to breathe hope, breathe life back into people so that they can live their best life, so they can use all the tools in their toolbox of life to get the best results for them and their family, and that they can then share a message with someone to help them be the best that they can be as well. So again, this is Sean. Just wanted to share a couple quick messages with you this morning, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the February. Alrighty, talk to you soon.